You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaya Reed.
Welcome back to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today we have another amazing show line for you guys. We have a true honor having our special guest, Bret Baier. He is the chief political anchor of Fox News Channel and anchor of Special Report with Bret Baier, a recipient of the National Press Foundation Saul Tayshoff Award for Excellence in Broadcast Journalism. He also is a New York Times bestselling author of 6 books. His latest book that we're going to be talking about today is To Rescue the American Spirit. It explores how Teddy Roosevelt's courage, conviction, and vision transform America into a superpower. Without further ado, I want to welcome Bret back to the show. So how you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me, Shema.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you being on today. Let's talk about Roosevelt's energy and his vision. It helped elevate America's place in the world. What made his leadership so pivotal to the nation's global identity and also sense of purpose?
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt is this figure, Shemai, that jumps off the page. The anecdotes about him, just the way he carried himself, he's larger than life. And, he has this booming voice and kind of expansive gestures and tremendous energy. And he becomes president at the turn of the 20th century, and he ushers in this kind of big, bold era. A lot of people think he was big. He was only 5'10", but he seemed much bigger. And you learn about something about the importance of the spirit of America, and his life is packed with these achievements. What this book, though, looks at is the soda straw moment. It looks at all his life, but it really focuses on the soda straw moment where he wants to leave a legacy of America being a global leader, of kind of leading the world, of being the solution to big problems around the world, about being a powerful force, and the world acknowledging that. So he gets involved in a peace deal between warring countries, Russia and Japan, a territorial dispute that's devolving into a war. He gets the leaders of those two countries to come to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He sets up the logistics for this peace negotiation. He shuttles back and forth and eventually gets a peace deal between the two countries that gets him the Nobel Peace Prize. But it also gets the focus of the world to say America is a solution and a big player.
When you think about the struggles he had, especially childhood with chronic asthma and the challenges that he overcame, what do you hope that readers will be able to appreciate from his relentless drive and just pursuit of just going after it?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You mentioned I've written 6 of these biographies: Eisenhower, Reagan, FDR, and then Grant, Washington, and Teddy Roosevelt. And what I've observed in this is that greatness doesn't grow out of an easy life. There's usually an impediment. There's usually a crucible to bear. There's usually like a major barrier to overcome, a struggle that builds character. And for Teddy Roosevelt, that struggle was debilitating asthma. As a small boy, he would shake with spasms because his asthma was so bad he couldn't breathe. His parents tried to do everything. They had crazy methods to try to poison the asthma out of him. They had him smoke strong cigars and drink coffee. It didn't work. It didn't work. It made him more sick. What eventually did work was time outside and fresh air, and that's where his love of nature and the outdoors comes from. But his father kind of bucks him up and says, you've got to make yourself stronger. And he takes that to heart, and he really works at it. And that resilience kind of forms who he is.
Once again, we're talking to Bret Baier. He is talking about the book that is out right now, available. You can get it on Amazon right now. Is To Rescue the American Spirit. My next question for you is, Roosevelt, he was known for being an explorer, a naturalist, and a man of action. What do you believe his spirit of influence, how do you believe that helped him govern and also inspire the American people?
He had a real love of the country and believed that protecting the country was a big force. In other words, some of the property and the natural resources. He thought about things in big pictures. If you think about the expanding the presidency, Teddy Roosevelt is the guy who sets the table for the modern presidency. He signs 1,300 executive orders. And just to put that in perspective, George Washington, till the 25th president, William McKinley, signed 1,200 executive orders. He signed 1,300. Donald Trump signed 210 executive orders in his first term and 220 here in his second term up to this point. But it gives you a sense of what that is. A lot of it was saving natural resources, natural parks, setting up the Forest Service. He believed in inspiring America by the beauty of America and retaining that. And he was also somebody who fought for the little guy, for labor. He's the first president to get involved in a labor dispute, strike by coal miners, and he files 40 antitrust lawsuits as president. He was kind of a fighter of the little guy, and that's inspiring.
If you look through the lens of his philosophy and how he led at his time, when you fast forward to today with all the noise, division, and uncertainty that is all around us, how do you believe Roosevelt would take charge in American spirit in today's time?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think he would still inspire with his words. On foreign policy, his big speech was speak softly, but carry a big stick. In other words, engage with the world, but make sure they know that you're strong. On domestic policy and kind of inspiring people, his speech after he leaves the presidency on citizenship eventually becomes known as the man in the arena speech. And he says you have to get in the game. You have to be a doer of deeds, not a critic of the doer. And I think that still holds today. There's a lot of people on social media that type a lot of things and say a lot of things on X and whatever your social media choice is. But the people who are doers in action and actually moving the needle are the ones that are changing the country.
Well, if you're listening to this right now, you want to move from the sidelines to inside the game, go get a copy of this book right now, To Rescue the American Spirit by Bret Baier. Like always, appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.